Rewind, the show where a couple of friends watch movies of old and try to figure out if the reviewers were spot on or a little off. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tristan.
And this week, we're talking about... Actually, that's not the music for it. Inception. Yeah. Inception. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Mike?
I keep having these dreams that Leonardo DiCaprio is just stealing my dreidel just all the time.
Your dreidel?
Yeah.
Can I tell you something? Before we even get in, I have been stuck in a dream loop before.
Okay.
And I'm not making this up. There was one time I had an eye procedure done, and I was on like sleep meds and pain meds and like a bunch of different things to help me sleep and not be in pain. And I won't go into details about what they did to my eyes, but they tried to make them better. But it wasn't LASIK.
It was basic.
It was basic. And I ran out of the sleep meds that they gave me. So I was taking NyQuil.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you've ever done NyQuil multiple days in a row. Eventually, it starts giving you the craziest dreams, and I would not recommend it. I got stuck in a loop of thinking I was awake and then being like, no, I'm sleeping, and then waking up in the same place, in the same room, just slightly different scenario, and being like, okay, now I'm awake. And it felt so real. And then being like, no, this isn't real either. And I kept waking up. And then eventually it switched to a different scenario, and I did that loop for a little bit. So when I actually woke up, at one point, it was like looping of me being in my bed, in my room. And eventually I actually woke up and I was like, okay, am I literally in my room right now? Like, is this the real room or is this the fake room? So yeah, I've incepted myself on accident.
Well, you dream something or other yourself, because Inception is something else.
Inception is planting an idea in somebody's head. So I just I dream layered myself.
You inceptioned yourself in that you told yourself you were New Zealand.
Yes.
You were from New Zealand.
Exactly.
And then you spoke with a New Zealand accent for a month and a half.
For two months straight?
2 months?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's wild. NyQuil. That's why it's the base for a lot of actual drugs. Anyway, director Christopher Nolan, produced by Christopher Nolan and Emma Thompson. Screenwriter Christopher Nolan.
Emma Thomas.
Sorry, Emma Thomas. I don't know why I knew that too, because when I read it yesterday, I corrected myself too. I thought she also had writing credits on this too. Anyway, Warner Brothers Distributor. Is it Syncopy? I forget what his company's called.
Syncopy makes more sense.
And Warner Brothers produced it, was the production company. PG-13 for sequences of violence and action. Sci-fi, mystery, and thriller, action. Original language, English. Released July 16th, 2010. So it is 15 years old. Or about to be. Starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Caine Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion
Cotillard?
Cotillard, I believe that's right.
Cotillard?
I think it's...
I don't know.
It's French. I don't know. I am very disrespectful to French, so I have no clue.
Cotillard?
Hamburger. Elliot Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger, and Michael Caine.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Everyone has a bad Michael Caine impression. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way. We are not going to dead name Elliot Page, but at the time of this film, his character was a woman, and so we will refer to Elliot's character as she in the story, but otherwise for the actor of Elliot Page, it will be he. I know that someone's gonna have a fit about that, talking about woke shit or whatever, but I just wanted to get that out of the way, because I do think that the character is supposed to be a female based off the name, and I will talk about that right now. Recap! Rewind! And now we transition to Recap Rewind, where we rewind and recap. Ooh, a little update. And another opportunity for Christopher Nolan to prove that he's a real boy with real emotions, he tells a tale of heartbreak, theft, and dreams, but mostly drugs. We follow the fugitive Cobb, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and his partner Arthur, played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, as they're on a mission, a dream mission, to extract information from the subconsciousness of Sato, played by the wonderful Ken Watanabe. While in the dream, a familiar face of Cobb's sabotages the mission. Ultimately, they fail to retrieve the needed information and are now wanted by the shady company Cobalt, who originally hired them. It was Cobalt, right? Am I remembering that right?
I think so.
I think so too. I just remember when they said the company name, I was like, that's stupid. Like for how heady Christopher Nolan gets, Cobalt just felt like a very like, did you just read James Bond or something?
Yeah, compared to like all the other names that are in here.
Yeah. You know what? And I bet there's a good meaning for it, and I just couldn't find it. Anyway, before Cobb and Arthur part ways, Sato offers them a job. The job is to get the heir to the largest energy company in the world to break up the company his father is about to leave for him. Sato offers a clean slate for Cobb so that Cobb can reunite with his kids. Arthur tries to talk Cobb out of it, but Cobb eventually agrees with the desire to see his kids again. Cobb flies to Paris to see his father, Miles, played by Michael Caine, and to let him know about the job. Miles is reluctant of the job, but does believe that Cobb can do it. Cobb asks if he knows of someone who could be a dream architect, and Miles has a pupil who could be better than Cobb was. Miles introduces Cobb to Ariadne, played by Elliot Page, which the name Ariadne is a little too much on the nose. If you didn't know or don't recall, in Greek mythology, Ariadne is the one who led Theseus out of the labyrinth. So I wonder what her role is going to be in this movie. Cobb and Arthur test Ariadne in the dream world, and she proves to be far more advanced and creative than they could have imagined. But once again, they are interrupted by a familiar to Cobb, Mal, played by Marion Cotillard, who is Cobb's wife. Ariadne is upset by what Mal did and leaves Cobb and Arthur. Cobb believes that Ariadne is hooked and will come back. Cobb sets out to get another team member, Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, but less muscles and much more charm. Tom Hardy plays Ames, which of course is a reference to The Chair. And he is a forger or something. I don't know. They had weird titles. He can pretend to be anyone in the dreams. Ames recommends the service of Yusuf, played by Dileep Rao. Yusuf is basically a sedative drug cooker and dealer. The team is made, and they are working to accomplish an inception, which is when an idea is implanted into the subconscious, and the subject then believes that they themselves came up with the idea. To make this happen, they have to go 3 layers into the dream state. The subject, J. Robert Oppenheimer, or Robert Fisher for short, played by Cillian Murphy. Sorry. I'm bad at this because I laugh at my own jokes, and that's probably not good. In the process of getting ready, Ariadne is very curious and infiltrates Cobb's dreams, finding that Mal is trapped within his mind and is a risk for everyone. Ariadne essentially commits to keeping an eye on Cobb. The team is eventually ready and make their way to a plane sometime after Robert's father has died. On this plane ride, they plan to complete the mission. They're able to enter Robert's dream and immediately are faced with militant opposition. They use Robert's father's right-hand man, Browning, played by the Cleveland Indian Hall of Famer Tom Berenger. Sato gets shot in the process, and getting away from the militant forces. Once they get away from the militant forces, it is revealed that while in previous missions, if you are shot or killed, you wake up. But in this version, because the sedative is so strong, if you die, you land in limbo. Realizing the new risks and a wounded Sato, the team agrees to move faster. Ariadne is more cautious about Cobb. In the second layer, they try a tactic where they reveal to Robert that he is in fact dreaming. In this revelation, they hope to have him second guess his subconscious security system. For the most part, it works. They're able to go into the next layer where all is going well, and Robert is about to find what he needs to find to change his mind when Mal shows up and kills Robert. Ariadne convinces Cobb to go 1 layer further into limbo. By this point, it is revealed that Cobb and Mal had lived 60 to 80 years in limbo, and once they woke up, Mal could not get over it and eventually killed herself and framed Cobb for the death in hopes that the pressure would force him to kill himself too. But as we go through limbo, it is revealed that Cobb actually did the first inception on Mal, which was that limbo wasn't real. But that seeded too much and made her believe that the real world was also fake and that limbo was the real world. It is shown that Mal and Cobb had grown old together already, and it was time for him to let Mal go. Ariadne was able to find Robert and was able to wake him up. Mal is shot by Ariadne, and Cobb tells her that she needs to leave, and he will find his way with Sato. Ariadne then wakes up, and Cobb moves on from Mal. He finds Sato, who is now an old man, and is able to wake him and himself up. They all wake up in the plane, right where they started. Robert has a new sense of purpose and is willing to break the power monopoly of his father. Sato makes a call, and they land. Cobb makes it through customs with no issues, and with Miles by his side, is finally reunited with his kids. And by the way, hate to burst the bubble, it's real. I'm sorry with all the arguments, all the internet, it's real. We have a weird prospect of time throughout dreams. The children have aged accordingly. And he wouldn't have been able to bring that about. And I also double checked it and looked through the airport scene to see if like his subconscious.
Mm.
And no,
Mm-hmm.
no one gave a crap about him.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard all the theories. I don't think him reuniting with his aged up children makes any sense for the dream world.
It's true.
The end.
Even the credits say 3-year-old Philippa and 5-year-old Philippa.
Yeah.
So there were different children at different ages.
Right. 2 years. 2 years have essentially passed since he had to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there would need to be more that happens for it to be like fake. I do like the theory though. So there was a theory that was going around because he spins the top. But the problem is the top's mouths.
Mm.
So what was he using before that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think someone had said a wedding ring. If I remember correctly. I don't remember. Now I don't remember. But yeah, I think it's real. I think he's awake.
Not to mention that nobody's supposed to touch your totem, but Saito touches his totem in in limbo, and so then therefore it breaks the whole thing. Did you ever think about that?
What?
Yeah.
Sato touched.
Saying that somebody touches somebody's totem in limbo sounds so wrong. However,
sounds like a good time, honestly.
At the very beginning, when they are old and he's like, I knew somebody who looked a lot like you, or whatever it is that he's saying. I don't know. I knew somebody like you. And he grabbed the top.
Your accent it was not Japanese. It went real weird.
I know, but I was trying not to be offensive.
I know. Hey, I have heard from some Japanese people. Now this is people I have heard it from, so it's not necessarily the rule of thumb, but there is something to speaking English with a quote unquote Japanese accent that is actually helpful for Japanese people because when they speak English, they add those Japanese notes. Now, I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying it wouldn't be the craziest thing. I'm setting you up for failure. That's what I'm setting you up for. Anyway, what was his totem?
He grabs the top and he spins it. And even though
Sato does?
Yeah, he grabs because the gun and the top are in front of him and he picks it up and he spins it.
Mother trucker, I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll rewatch that.
So I'm sure that's something that people have made arguments about of like, it no longer counts as a reliable source of realness anymore because only you know how blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So maybe it's only in the real world that people aren't allowed to touch your totem. I don't know.
No,
I tend to not let people touch my totem in the real world.
I would assume that it's in general because the real reason you have it is for the dream. So if someone does touch it in the dream, that's when it loses value, not in the real world. But you don't allow it in the real world just in case you're not, in fact, in a dream or whatever.
Yeah.
Something.
But it all goes back to it's not actually his totem. So
interesting.
Anyway,
theories abound. What'd you think of the movie overall?
You know, first of all, this movie was a huge deal when it came out.
It was. It was a huge deal in many aspects. One, like it is a very clever plot.
Yeah.
The story design, everything like that is very clever. Visually, it has some really, especially for 2010, had some really stunning visuals. And this was kind of the start of the Leo resurgence, I think.
Yeah, because there was Shutter Island
Right.
sometime around here. And then when did Django come out?
I think that was later. We'll check. But
2012.
So, so within that, Wolf of Wall Street was 2013. Maybe I'm talking out of my butt about that. I feel like, he had his teen years, and then there was a bit of a lull. Like The Departed, people thought highly of him in that, and he was working, but I feel like Shutter Island was the he's back kind of thing. He had done movies consistently, but Shutter Island, Inception, J. Edgar, Django, Great Gatsby, Wolf of Wall Street, all within 3 years. Shutter Island was the same year as Inception.
Same year. Well, honestly, I kind of got the story of him and his wife crossed over with each other between this one and Shutter Island.
You know what? While I was watching this, I thought the same freaking thing.
I couldn't remember which one was which.
Like, the only difference is, spoilers, the children died in one and the children didn't die in another.
Yeah.
But you'll have to watch to figure it out, even though I gave you the ending. Yeah. That was weird that, I guess a psychological thriller of sorts, because The Dream is psychology a bit. Mm-hmm. And it has to do with a wife that kind of loses her mind.
Yeah.
Whoa. Way to cast him, Leo.
Yeah. And then he doesn't know what's real and what's not.
I know. Well, one of them had Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. And the other one had
Tom Hardy.
Mad Max.
Well, he wasn't Mad Max yet.
Not yet. I forgot he was in this movie, honestly.
I did. You know what? So did I. When I saw him, I was like, oh, shoot, it's Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And then he spoke, and I was like, you know what? Tom Hardy really has that. I know he's English, but he has that kind of like that. I'm very stereotypical in this, but like New Yorker, Jersey kind of fighting guy look to him. But he just sounds like a right old gentleman, Every time he talks, I'm like, man, that British accent. it catch it. What? Okay, hold on. Leonardo American, Watanabe Japanese, but like he plays a Japanese character. Levitt, American. Marion, French. Elliot, American. Okay. And then we have Tom Hardy and Cillian Murphy. Cillian, who is Irish, I believe.
I think it's Irish, yeah.
Playing an American. Christopher Nolan has a big thing about getting UK actors to play Americans.
Yeah. Which he does a pretty good American accent.
He does fantastic.
There are some who do American accents, and you can hear the British or the United Kingdom-ish try to come out. But
I will say, I think he's gotten better in time. I thought his first go with Jonathan Caine in Batman Begins was a little rough. Mm-hmm. But this one was, I can't really tell.
Yeah. I don't think it was until I saw him in Peaky Blinders that I realized that he wasn't American.
Yeah. I saw him in something else that made me realize, or like Hugh Laurie.
Right.
You're like, wait, that Dr. Sherlock Holmes is not American?
Right.
Anyway, overall, I think it was. Oh, you were going to say something, and I totally interrupted you. At the time, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
That's all you had.
I don't remember where I was going, but I think it was a really big deal. I remember it was such a big deal that there was even like apps. There was an app that was like the Inception soundtrack, and it knew kind of like where you were. It was early iPhone,
right?
Like iPod Touch era.
Uh-huh.
And it could use like the momentum sensor in your phone to know if you were like running or whatever, and it would change the atmosphere sound, and it would grab. It was really cool. I never got to fully use it because at the time I only had an iPod Touch, and like you can't really.
Yeah, it didn't have the navigation features,
the GPS, unless you're attached to Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. So, but it was like this thing where the soundtrack plus the sounds that were around you would like merge together and like be affected by what was happening.
Right.
And it was a really cool thing
right.
that I haven't seen people utilize recently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like, you mentioned how there was a lot of effects that were like a big deal back then. And it's funny to like watch Doctor Strange now and be like, okay, you guys have taken what they did
right
almost 15 years ago and like done it even better. But it's like you see that effect in Doctor Strange, you're like, oh, that's just Inception. You go back and watch Inception, you're like, oh, they did it so much better though.
Yeah.
Like now
Inception, it was funny because I thought that too, watching Doctor Strange. And then, admittedly, this is like the second or third time I've ever watched this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't really watched this movie that much. But I remember the trailers and all that stuff once I saw Doctor Strange. And now watching it again, I was like, wow, those trailers really put a lot of emphasis in this like curvy world.
And it happens one time.
It happens once. I really thought it was going to happen a lot more.
Yeah. And I think this movie may have been, I don't think it was the introduction to, but it was the what made the bwop sound. But it also isn't in this movie.
No,
like it's in the trailer.
It is in the trailer, and I gotta admit, and I'm gonna get hate for this. I like Hans Zimmer. I think he's an outstanding composer.
Mm-hmm.
And music was kind of mid.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't fit certain scenes.
Mm-hmm. I thought the same thing too. I remember the soundtrack being kind of a big deal, but like going back, it's not. Okay, look at Hans Zimmer and Dune. Like his more recent stuff.
Even before that.
Yeah.
He did Lion King.
He did Lion King, yeah.
And if you listen to the actual composition of it,
it's great.
It's gorgeous. It's so majestic. It's so orchestral. And then in the mid 2000s, he did The Dark Knight, where like he stripped down and tried to create emotion based off tension. Everything in that movie musically was tension. Tension. And in this movie, the music, sometimes I was just like, what is this? What has happened? Why is this what was picked for this scene? It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Some of the action sequences were pretty good, but there was some in the middle where you were like
it felt almost like too intense, but also nothing for certain scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It was kind of, it didn't fully fit.
Yeah.
The whole movie. Um, but yeah, I like the
Go for
first time watching it.
Mhm.
I think with most Christopher Nolan movies, you kind of have to watch it more than once to fully understand it.
Right.
Like his movies are a watch it in IMAX for the experience, and then watch it again at home to be like, okay, what did I just see?
Right. I'm going to make Film Bros real angry.
Do it.
I think Christopher Nolan is very much a 1 or 2 time viewing director. Because if you watch the movies too much, it's really easy to start pulling threads. And suddenly this movie that was awe-inspiring, you're kind of like, that doesn't make any sense. Why did that person do that?
Yeah.
What the hell is wrong with these people? Does no one know how to emote? Like, throughout this whole movie, I think because I was trying to have that kind of objective, judgmental eye a little bit. No, that's contradictory. An objective eye. There were a bunch of moments where I just kind of was like, why are we letting people do this? Why is this okay? This is not okay. No one would think this is okay. Ariadne's like, everything that character does makes no sense at all. Okay, she gets invited in, goes through the dream, and then immediately gives no shits about what Cobb is saying. Does not care.
Yeah.
And I'm immediately like, where's this arrogance coming from?
Right. Because when the character is introduced, she's like kind of timid and quiet. And
then immediately gets into the dream and is the biggest douchebag possible. Is then surprised that all of Cobb's warnings come to fruition. Just shocked. He's literally saying like, hey, if you do too much of this, they're going to not like this. And then they didn't like this, and she wakes up and is all mad and then goes away and then comes back. And then her obsession with Mal kind of makes sense, but to the extent that she goes makes no sense at all.
Right. It feels like they wrote the character as someone who was experienced in this and getting brought into, I mean, let's think of it big picture. It's a heist movie. You have your different heist people, and they're bringing in somebody new to the group, and they kind of mixed two people together of you have your fresh face, never done this before kind of person. Right. But they mixed that character with has done this before, is experienced, but is like getting brought back in or something, or like works alone, and they're bringing her in, and she's like, okay, if like you want me to trust you, then you have to let me in. And like, I don't know, it was kind of a weird dynamic with that character. She didn't fully, it felt like she was playing two sides of the fence.
Yeah. And then the obsession with Mal, like, kind of makes sense. But to the extent that it was taken, I just don't know if that makes sense. And then when Cobb realizes that Ariadne was in his dream, the whole elevator scene, I don't understand that scene. Because essentially he's trying to get her out.
Yeah.
But he keeps just leading her through different aspects of his memory.
Yeah, well, from my understanding, there's no way to get her out
He could have killed her.
without. Yeah, I guess he could have done that. But for the most part, it's like set to a timer when they're not under the sedatives. So
Yeah. I don't know.
Without straight up killing her, I think it was more of
that whole scene. I was just like,
distract her.
what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you showing her these things? It's your dream.
Mm-hmm.
Just have a floor that has nothing.
Yeah.
And be like, we're just gonna say, you want to play Parcheesi?
Mm-hmm.
I got Skippo.
It's almost
that's a deep cut. If you know Skippo, I'm mad good at Skippo.
It's almost as if they didn't really explain this, but it's kind of like a layer of a dream can only be the location that it is before you go. Like, you think of what the location is, and that's before you go into the dream, and then that's the location.
Right.
It sounded like you could potentially change it, but by changing it would affect how
but he himself,
the NPCs.
But it's his dream.
Right.
So he can manipulate it any way he wants. It is when someone else is in the dream and being the architect that is the issue.
That's true. I don't know. It was
that's why I was confused by it, because I was like, you're in control.
Yeah.
She infiltrated your dream that you are in control of.
Mm-hmm.
So command it as such. That's why that scene didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. No, I get it. There's some things that get a little weird.
Yeah. But like I said, Christopher Nolan, I feel like if you watch it too much, you can just pull threads. And I think that the people who don't pull the threads are just like the pretty pictures. Because this was the first time when I watched it that I was like, oh, yeah, Christopher Nolan has a visual perspective. Mm-hmm. This looks like a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It's wild that this movie is so different from Batman Begins or The Dark Knight or any of the Batman movies, but it visually in some scenes looked identical.
It feels like you could take a screenshot from one and a screenshot from another and be like, same movie.
Yeah, which through this podcast, we've watched a lot of singular directors' work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can say that about a lot of directors.
About others, yeah.
I think there's techniques that they use that are very clearly techniques that they like. But this one was like set design, costuming, light, like the lighting is exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's interesting because I haven't seen like Oppenheimer or some of his newer things, but it would be interesting to watch one of his more recent films and compare it to The Dark Knight or Inception to see, like, has it evolved, has it changed, or does it still have that same? Because it makes sense that this was made during the same time.
In some defense, it was made during the same time. It was a movie based in a metropolis type city, so you're bound to have moments that look similar because the architecture of Chicago and whatever city they were using, New York or whatever it was supposed to be.
In this one, it was like Paris, wasn't it?
Is that
where were they in the dream? I don't remember where they were in the dream.
Where were they in the dream? Because now thinking about it, didn't they say he was flying from L.A. to Sydney?
Sydney to LA, because when Cobb got back, he was crossing into
the
U.S. soil.
So where does he do business?
I don't know, man.
Was it supposed to be Sydney?
They could have just
Why were there no Australians?
You're asking
Not a
too many
single
questions.
person. Not a single person had an Australian accent.
Too many questions.
Oi, crikey! Aren't you Leonardo DiCaprio?
That was something.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not racist because they. Never mind.
Go ahead. Is it because they're colonizers? Is that the problem?
Yeah.
Can't be racist to a colonizer. Oh boy.
I feel
Let's
like
get ourselves out of this hole.
I feel like I could say that.
So you mentioned something, and it made me think, like, just Christopher Nolan in general. I think it's one of the things that made Heath Ledger's Joker stand out so much is because everybody else is so serious, mumblecore, like no emotion.
So do you think there was a character like Joker, not evil, but a standout character? Who do you think was the standout? Do you feel this one had one?
I feel like
it was Ames, right?
Between Ames and maybe Robert. Because Robert, he has some emotion because he's kind of, but like
he doesn't fit into the group just because he just doesn't care.
Because yeah,
he just hates them. Like throughout everything, he just looks put off by everyone.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess Ames is the one who brings in some difference in like how he talks, in the way that he interacts with everybody. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, even Ken Watanabe, even though he's not a white guy, I feel like any of them could have been interchanged in the way that their characters
the role of the character, and then the emotional meter were very similar for all. Arthur, like Ames makes a joke about how he's the serious one, and I was like, "Who? Are you sure? Are you sure?" Because this other guy seems like the serious one too.
Yeah.
Yusef seems like he was a bit of the like comedy relief.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciated when the van crashed and he was able to get it standing up, and then he looks around and he's like, "You guys see that?" And then he was like, "Oh wait, they're all asleep."
Yeah. Like
he was clearly there to liven it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Now, that makes me wonder though. I'm going to have to pay attention to more Christopher Nolan movies though, to see if there is a character who is the, like, they're different than everybody else kind of thing. In the Dark Knight, it's easier because the Joker is like
wildly different,
but it feels like everybody's the same. And there's maybe one character who is just
a bit
out
eccentric.
of the norm.
Well, yeah. And it's funny because it seems, I'm just thinking of the Batman movies, but it seems like those characters are ones that, like, you have this whole world that is built on these characters who are like overly serious, dark and brooding.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a character who, again, in the real world would be odd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Joker, even in the real world, would be a really odd case, but is even more odd because everyone else is so serious.
Why so serious?
Yeah. And then you have like Bane, who is kind of an odd character because he's outside of what, you know, the seriousness of everything. But then you actually stop and you're like, yeah, but even if like you took the mask and everything, you just took how he talked, in the real world, people would be like, that guy's a little odd. Which,
yeah,
Tom Hardy did base that voice off of a real person.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know if there was one character. I think each character kind of had their own moments, but everyone was very serious. And yeah, I wonder if that is a token of Christopher Nolan characters.
It feels
I
like
feel
it
like
is.
I feel like that might be extra present in ones that he writes himself, because I do know that he has writing partners. Like his brother, he writes with his brother.
Hmm.
Yeah, like Interstellar was written with his brother. Oh, well, there you go. I guess that explains a lot. He wrote the original story for Man of Steel.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dunkirk he wrote by himself. I bet you that is just an exciting bit of levity.
Have you not seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Oh man. Yeah.
Tenet he wrote by himself. And Oppenheimer he wrote with other people, or is it based off? No, it's based off a book. So he took materials from a book and then wrote it for screen.
Yeah.
Which could be his own way. Okay. Let me see. Prestige. He wrote with his brother.
Ah. Le Prestige. I feel like unintentionally this year we might be doing a bit of a study into Christopher Nolan.
We might. I didn't put in the Prestige. Memento was his first one. That one he also wrote with his brother.
Mm-hmm.
I have to watch it again. If I remember correctly, I hate the Prestige. And it's mostly like a character aspect to it.
Mm.
I hate all the characters in the Prestige. And I have opinions about his Batman movies too,
Mm-hmm.
which we will check out later this year. But yeah, I have a weird perspective with Christopher Nolan where I think he's objectively a good director.
Mm-hmm.
His movies are an experience. They are visually an experience.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that he's the best writer. But I also think that for his movies to get made, or rather for studios to have him direct a movie, it's kind of a package deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think he'll direct. He probably has, but I don't think he would direct too many movies that he didn't have a hand in writing. So I don't necessarily think he's the best. I think he's a really good concept writer, but from beginning to end, the movie, he gets there, but I don't think the plot or like the character development is necessarily the strongest.
Right.
But you know, that's my own opinion. Everyone can love him and all that good stuff, but I do think there is something to say that like he is an excellent director, but not all of his stories are as strong as maybe people give it credit. And the more you watch it, I think the more it becomes obvious.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think he is a creator for the experience.
Yeah.
Not necessarily he likes complex ideas.
Yeah.
And he always films for IMAX.
Right.
And super HD,
yeah,
like kind of stuff. And so he wants to create the experience. And so I feel like
he's like if Michael Bay didn't make trash. because Michael Bay makes experiential movies, and
it's
even
the Michael Bay for the thinking man.
Yeah, I think a little, because there was a thing that came out that was kind of going through the history of Michael Bay, and in college, his professors were enamored by his work. They were saying, like, he is one of the best writers we've ever had. He is a really good director, and even some of his early stuff, like, it has moments, but they're good movie, like, they're fun. And then there's an argument that Michael Bay knows that American audiences are stupid, and he just makes movies that he knows stupid people will go watch.
Yeah.
That's a conversation for another day, but he knows what he's doing. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he knows visually what he's doing. He makes visual spectacles.
Yeah.
And Christopher Nolan also makes visual spectacles, but the movies are more thought out and definitely aren't for... It's one of those weird things where I think everyone can go watch it and have a good experience. But if you're not paying attention, or you're not someone who wants to dive into a movie, you're going to leave going, that was really pretty, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah. And that's kind of circles back around to what we were mentioning earlier of, like, watch it the first time and you're like, wow, that was awesome. I have no idea what happened. You watch it a second time and you're like, I understand what happened, and I'm starting to see the holes.
Right. And then you watch it a third time and you're like,
now I'm just seeing holes.
Oh, man. And then you start to get tired of it, and then your grandpa's like, that's too damn bad.
Yeah.
Holes reference. So overall, I think we have an understanding of, like, it has some really, really good moments, but it also has some plot holes, has some issues story-wise. Are there some aspects of the movie that you really enjoyed?
I think, the things that stick out to me are when they mess with physics in a practical way.
Yeah.
So
that whole hallway scene, the hotel scene.
Yeah.
What a clever way to tell a visual story. Because there really is not a lot of dialogue happening.
It's all physical.
Right. And then
basically,
essentially, it's Arthur has to move these unconscious bodies from one room to another. That's it. That's the whole scene.
Yeah. Well, even before that, like the fighting that happens before he moves the bodies, when the van is tumbling down the hill.
Right.
And the dream, the next level of that dream is them in the hotel, and the hotel hallway is spinning.
Right. Yes. The fight scene.
And for those who don't know, they built a practical hallway that was on a giant spinning device.
That was like 30 feet long.
And so,
like, it was legit really long.
So that, like, the camera is on a thing that spins. The room is spinning or turning.
So you could have those counter angles where the room is spinning clockwise and the camera's spinning counterclockwise. So you could have that, like,
just these crazy things where, like, there are a couple of shots when they're like the no gravity scenes where you can tell that is a rubber CGI Joseph Gordon-Levitt hopping around, but even into him like wrapping everybody up and pushing him through the hallway, like all of that is just like,
I'd have to check it again because
really
I don't recall a scene where he looked CGI.
There's one moment.
I was also watching that scene from my phone, so I could have not. It could have been.
Yeah, no. When he does the zero gravity fight with that guy, there's some moments in there where he kind of turns into a uncanny valley.
I'm gonna watch it again to see it,
and it's pretty subtle.
Yeah. Well,
But
that's also the thing about Christopher Nolan, because I know he really has a um, high standard of using practical effects.
yeah,
I'm sure he's a nice guy. He sounds very snooty about movie stuff. CGI, he doesn't want to use it. He wants to use practical effects.
yeah, he's very much of the do it practically and then use CG to fill it in.
Right. And sometimes in his movies, the CG is kind of like, you guys could have done another round. You could have rendered one more time.
Do that once again. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like the type of cameras that he's using and the like film
it's hard
techniques,
to hide that.
It's hard to hide.
There is so much detail.
You see so much detail of the real person and then to exchange it with a CG body double.
Right.
It's like you can't unsee the fact that that doesn't have pores.
Right. Well, because the next movie he's doing is The Odyssey, and he's filming it with like the newest IMAX camera, which I can't even fathom how that's gonna look.
Be like 1,000,000K or something.
Yeah.
Those numbers don't make sense, but you know what I mean.
You're gonna see every clump of makeup on everyone's face.
Yeah.
Which, by his standard, I feel like makeup might not be. He might have them kind of have a natural kind of look. I'm speculating too much on something that doesn't matter right now. Yeah. So the practical effects, wild, super good.
It's crazy. There's the scene when, giving her a complicated name, Ariadne.
I have it. Hold on.
Ariadne.
Where is it? Ariadne.
Her and Cobb are walking through the city in the dream, and she's changing things. And then they walk under the bridge, and she like pulls this giant mirror.
Yeah.
And then she pulls another one.
Right.
Those mirrors were practical mirrors.
Right.
What's really funny about the behind the scenes is that Christopher Nolan and like the camera guy, the director of cinematography, like all of them are just standing in front of these mirrors. Like it's not just Leo and Elliot that are standing there. And so they use these giant practical things and then they CG'd them out too. But it's just like, you should look it up. It's a really funny.
There was another movie that had mirrors that was John Wick 2, I think. They had a big scene where there was a bunch of mirrors and all that stuff. And what they did was instead of having the crew and all of that, they just had the camera behind a mirror and they cut a little hole out. So all they had to cut out or all they had to CGI was the little hole. Otherwise, everything is completely practical.
Right.
And
yeah,
it's one of those things where it's like, I think you guys could have done that.
You could have.
I don't think that would have been too hard.
Yeah, I think if you, it was the Corridor crew. I think they did a video where they looked at that and they're like, yeah, they completely removed them out and then it made this like infinite mirror thing.
Yeah.
But it's a funny thing. But again, using these practical effects and then using CG to like clean up the edges, but not relying on the CG.
Right.
Which
is a good method. It's a good method to create something that feels real while also really fighting reality, or at least giving the audience that bit of, oh, this doesn't feel real, but it looks real, you know?
Yeah.
I also thought the casting was really good. I know there was a lot of stoicism within characters, you know, that might be a writing thing, but I still think that they acted well.
Yeah.
Leo, I have a weird, again, a weird thing with Leo where, like, I watch him and I believe him.
Mhm.
And then sometimes I watch him like, is he a good actor? I don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Like in Django, he's absorbed in there. It's insane.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think he wasn't some Southern gentleman slave. Like you're like, oh, he is that person.
Yeah.
And in this movie, I'm like, I think he's just kind of like, he's definitely a character, but that's Leo's voice. Maybe some of his own mannerisms. And I just never know, like I hear Leonardo DiCaprio talk and in my head, I'm just like, is that your voice? Is that how you sound normally?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe how he sounds. Like, I don't know. It's a weird thing.
There's some actors, I mean, even in just some movies that they're in, but there's some actors that like they're always them.
Right.
And even though they're playing a different character, there's a difference between like, Alec Baldwin. I feel like almost always is Alec Baldwin, especially nowadays.
After a certain point, yeah.
Yeah.
After the shadow. After the shadow
was good, but after
the like shadow was 30, the point.
30 Rock and beyond, he's just Alec Baldwin.
Right. Yeah.
And I feel like Leo.
It's
sometimes
kind of
it's just Leo. Like
right.
I'm watching The Great Gatsby and it's Leo. I'm watching Shutter Island and it's Leo. Calling him Leo like I'm his best friend.
For those listening, Tristan and I are of the age where, you know, we saw Leonardo DiCaprio in his younger roles and when he was on Teen Bop and he was the teen heartthrob and all of those things. And the media would refer to him simply as Leo.
Yeah.
And so I think we kind of find ourselves in that generation where we do that. And maybe now we're kind of realizing like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
We don't know him.
It's just easier to say. Anyway, I think he's one of those people that he can disappear into the character, but most of the time I'm just seeing him do a good job.
Right.
But it's just him.
Yeah. Justin Gordon-Levitt was kind of odd for me in this, in that in his action scenes, he's really believable.
Mm-hmm.
Like that fight scene where it was practical, he was doing a really good job. And I think it was him. I don't think it was a stunt guy. I think it was him.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt believable. But then when he talks and he's trying to be that serious person, I don't know. It feels weird because growing up, I saw him on Third Rock from the Sun.
Third Rock, yeah.
And a lot of the comedies he's been in. So him being overly stoic feels weird. And also seeing interviews with him, seeing that like that cheery kind of persona is kind of him.
Yeah, he's a guy that just likes to have fun. And so to see him in this serious role is like, it doesn't quite fit. I mean, I've seen him in serious roles where he does.
I kind of want to, like, I've never seen it, but Looper, where he plays like a young Bruce Willis. I'm curious about it because watching this, I'm like, it's kind of hard to believe.
His character just felt off.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was him or the character, because the character just kind of felt like he was there, which is weird because he's like the right-hand man to Cobb, but he also felt like, did we need him?
Right. Yeah. I thought Elliot Page did a great job. I thought he played the character as the character needed to be played. Any issues I have with the performance, I think, are written issues, not necessarily acting.
Is the character itself, yeah.
Ken Watanabe played Ken Watanabe, but I just really like Ken Watanabe. There's something
always great to see.
There's something about his voice, not just the accent, but the tenor of his voice. There's something weirdly soothing, but also there's like a tension. It's just fun to watch him. And let's see, Mal drove me crazy. And I think the relationship between Cobb and Mal drove me crazy. I think the reveal of why he felt guilty took too long. I understand that they had to like get it there, you know, so that the ending has the ending, whatever it might be. But it was just one of those things where you're like, okay, we revealed that they were married. Okay, we revealed that they were in limbo. Okay, revealed that when they woke up from limbo, she couldn't handle it. She went mad and she killed herself. Okay, he blames himself. Why? And then we have a long time where that why is just kind of hung up. You're just like, why? What's happening? Are we ever going to get an answer? What are we going to do? And then for Mal to be nowhere and then magically in the safe room or whatever it was.
That last layer, yeah.
That last layer. And then just to shoot him. Just outright. It just... I was just... We're moving too fast or too slow. I don't know where we're moving.
It makes me wonder if there are scenes where she was in the other layers of the dreams and they cut them out because there was too much going on. But it was all like there was the talking about her showing up. Right. And there were the other things bleeding through. But it was strange to not have her be an actual presence in those other layers.
Right. Because it seemed from the previous experiences that she made her presence known pretty quick. And they were in there for days.
Right.
The time got a little weird. Through the whole movie, the concept of time. I don't know. I hope someone on the internet hates their life enough to just like time it all and then post it and be like, this is how it all lines up. This is how much time passed.
Yeah, because they say they could be in there for a week.
10 years.
10 years.
And
was the last one?
And the last one was 10 years.
Oh, the first layer was a week.
So then, the snow layer should have been, but it was, I guess it worked out because they had 60 minutes and then Arthur had like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the van had like seconds, but then that didn't make sense because the van was the first layer, which was like double our time or something like that.
Yeah, because it's normally like, I don't remember what the time difference was, but because of the sedatives, they added
it was an hour when they first when Ariadne first went in. She was like, we were talking for an hour.
Yeah.
And they were like, you were in for 5 minutes or whatever. So, math is not my strong suit. Maybe anyway. they write it in a way that you can't find the answer even if you tried.
I don't know. They were in there Not as long as they could have been in there for.
Yeah, which they were in a hurry. We understand that. That made sense. We're already kind of getting into stuff that maybe we didn't like. The dream world doesn't make any sense, and not in the way that you think, because there's things that happen in the dream world that are inexplicable, and no one like either the people. Oh God. The ghost of Christopher Nolan's attacking me. He's alive, and so. I say this because it's either it doesn't make sense or the people are stupid or whatever it might be. So there's a scene where they're stuck in that like industrial factory warehouse kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to make the escape in the van. Mm-hmm. And Arthur saw the subconscious militant people somehow and mm-hmm. is shooting at them. Mm-hmm. And he's failing to do so. Which one? How are you not a perfect shot in the dream world? How is that not something you can do? So that's one thing that just, that idea right there doesn't make any sense.
I feel like that's combating the movie trope of bad guys, bad shot, good guys, good shot.
Well, here's the other one, and this one I do think is a legitimate argument. So then Ames comes up and is like, "You need to dream bigger," or whatever it is, and he has a grenade launcher. Mm-hmm. So the inference is that they can dream up their weapons, mm-hmm. and they now have those weapons. Mm-hmm. They don't do that any other point in the movie.
Yep.
Where they could have seriously done that. Mm-hmm. The whole hallway scene would have been fixed if he just, I have a gun now. Bang, bang. Mm-hmm. But they don't do that. There's the fight scene where Ames is fighting with that subconscious guard or whatever that is overpowering him somehow. And then he loses his gun and is like, why don't you just dream a sidearm? Yeah. Why aren't you creating more weapons? Why are we doing this as though materials are limited?
There's certain moments where it's like in the hotel, maybe it makes sense that they're not using guns because they're trying to be more subtle about what they're doing. But when they are fighting an army, right? And at one point they pick up a gun and they're like, "Oh, out of ammo," and throw it off to the side. Oh my gosh! Why would you ever run out of ammo?
That one killed me. That one, I got so mad. I was like, "How are you out of? You can dream ammo."
Yeah.
The subconscious already knows you're here. Mm-hmm. Nothing you do at this point is going to like.
Just reach behind your back and pull out another clip. Yeah. Which
would still be inconspicuous in the realm. It's not like you're bringing an entire city street above you and mm-hmm. creating some kind of prism. It's a thing. It's a cartridge full of bullets. You could just.
I mean, why even dream about a gun that needs to be reloaded in the first place?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, in that scene where he pulls out the grenade launcher and does that, there's a whole other guy that was on a different roof laying down shooting at them that they did nothing about.
Yeah, that scene has issues just simply off that aspect of, okay, he's shooting the guy at the electric terminal mm-hmm. or whatever. Yeah, there's another dude somewhere.
Yeah, we've seen three people shooting at you, and we know where two of them are.
Yeah. Weird, man. I don't know. That scene was so weird. Mm-hmm. Alrighty. I feel like I could talk about plot holes for a while. So, um,
That's one of those things you don't think about it the first time you watch it,
no,
and then you come back around and you're like, wait, why did they not? They introduced the idea of dreaming up a gun, and then they don't dream up gun.
I do think that some of the narrative building gets a little meh. When they're talking about the Inception, the concept of the Inception, like, I don't know, they just said Inception too much.
Yeah.
There were some times when they were talking and it was just like, all right, guys.
You know, they should have introduced the idea of the Immaculate Inception.
Zing. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, it took an entire hour of introduction.
Yeah.
Which is a long time.
Yeah.
To introduce a movie.
So yeah, I don't know if I want to say the pacing was one way or another, because while watching it, I did enjoy it and it did kind of lock me in, which I do think is that directorial presence of Christopher Nolan being able to kind of lock in an audience. But I don't know. Some of the dialogue was like, "Oh gosh, are you guys real? Are you the dream? Because this is stupid."
I really feel like the movie could have been the same length, but there are certain scenes that should have been shorter and certain things that maybe should have been a little bit longer and developed that element more and spent less time talking about this other thing that's like, okay, we understand that part,
right.
But like, how come blah, blah, blah.
I honestly think more, even though she drove me crazy, more Mal might have been better. Mal being just like a terrorizer throughout the thing could have been, I think, really good. I know that Christopher Nolan, when he originally wrote it and with the concept, there was an idea of it being more of a horror movie. I think it could have done well to be more horror, where it really,
like, if you had more nightmare stuff coming
or
in.
like that thriller aspect. It wasn't as thriller as I thought it was or remembered it being. Like, it didn't have that thriller intensity. It had it at moments.
Right.
There are a couple jump scares, but it didn't chase after that as much as I think it could have, and could have accomplished really well conceptually, because it's a wild concept, and it doesn't. You're right. If you think about it, it never really reaches into that aspect of nightmares, which could have been really good, because if not only does the subconscious start to take over, but what if when things start to go awry, it starts to become more nightmarish? That could have brought about a lot of visuals, a lot of interesting scenes, and maybe even a little addition to the plot itself. But it doesn't seem like that was really explored at all, even though that is a major part of what we do in our dreams. We don't just dream. You know, we have nightmares. Our subconscious dictates based on whatever it is we're feeling in the moment, or whatever our brain chemistry is at that time. It's just interesting that, you know, you could have like a sad dream, but it's sad because of the realism, not sad because of that aspect of dreams. And, you know, the idea of your subconscious starts to take over when it realizes that, you know, someone's messing with your dream or something like that. And it's like, dreams are crazy. And the problem is our frontal lobe is off. So even in the craziness, we don't realize it.
Yeah.
So they're just within that scope. It just kind of goes like, is this something you can really put a lot of weight on before it starts to fall apart? And I'm wondering, it just another direction it could have gone.
Yeah. Something this reminded me of it. Something that I thought was an interesting thing. The first time I watched it, I didn't notice it, but when they get into limbo and there's all the buildings falling apart,
right?
I just assumed that the buildings were falling apart because it's like it had been here for a while. It was deteriorating because it was part of Cobb's and Maul's like old thing. What I realized this time is that they're sand castles, and they're falling apart because the waves are hitting the sand and making the sand fall apart.
Oh, because in the dream world, you can make sandcastles, anything.
Yeah, well, and it shows them when they're in limbo, they're like building the sand castles, and then behind them you see the structures, and then the wave comes and like knocks it over. And I didn't put those together until this time, where it's like, oh, the buildings are falling apart because they're sand castles.
That's clever. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. I thought the random kiss between Arthur and Ariadne was weird because they played it off where, I mean, it was done as like kiss me, and that will like, because there's the like psychological thing of people will look away when they see people kissing.
Right.
But instead he's like, just thought I'd give it a shot. And like kind of has this like smirk on his face, and then she's like, "Oh, excuse me."
But she smirks. That was the thing. She smirked too, almost not condoning it, but kind of like, "Oh, I kind of feel that too."
Oh, cheeky.
But there's no other tension in it.
Yeah, it feels like they were trying to include something there that didn't have any lead up or follow through.
And it might have been in a scene that got cut or something.
Yeah.
The getting ready montage. Maybe there was something there.
Yeah. And I think if there was a thing where it was like, well, that didn't work, and then they just moved on from it.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's kind of this lingering reaction from both of them, and I guess before, because they did a lot of training together, there could have been something that was in the original script that didn't make it into the final.
But you're right. Like, in the context that we have it, in the cut that we have it, it does feel like they did it, and then his response is like, "Hey, at least I got to kiss you." I
got to kiss you.
And
I knew it wouldn't work, but I kissed you.
Yeah. If he would have even just said that, what you said, sometimes creating an awkward situation causes the subconscious to look away or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? You're making all this dream shit up anyway. Might as well just throw that out there. But nah. This isn't necessarily like a quotable movie, but do you have a quote or scene that you appreciated?
I mean, I think the scene that I appreciated was the hallway stuff.
And I already talked about my quote when Yusef's like, "Did you guys see that?" Oh,
yeah. I mean, most of it's too serious to.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything that was like, oh, that's a really like insightful quote.
Yeah.
Like, it's just kind of all.
There was.
We're dreaming inside of dreams.
Shoot. There was one that I thought was interesting, but off the top of my head, I cannot. Yeah. What is the most resilient parasite? That idea, that whole quote, I remember hearing it and just thinking, screw you. What is the most resilient parasite? Bacteria, a virus, an intestinal worm? An idea. Resilient, highly contagious. An idea has taken hold of the brain and it's almost impossible to eradicate. An idea is fully formed, fully understood, that sticks right in there somewhere. Excuse my language. Fuck you. Because I get ideas all the time, and then when I go back to try to think of it, I'm like, it's gone. It's gone. It died. I didn't realize that I had eradicated that virus in my brain. I wanted it. That line made me so mad because I was like, no, ideas are so easy to have and forget. Even good ideas, you forget good ideas. It happens.
I've had this thought that I've been wanting to like look into more of. Why do we remember that we forgot something, but we can't remember what it is that we forgot?
For the jokes that we have in media. And I wonder if that's even true though, too.
What, that you remember that you forgot something?
Yeah. Do we actually remember, or did we convince ourselves that we had something?
There are times where it's like, I know I had an idea and now I can't remember or recall what that idea was. But yeah, maybe maybe memory is so faulty that we think we had an idea, even though we never really had an idea at all.
That's what I mean. See, that's insightful. That's clever. Yeah. I think the reason I hate it is because it's not true. That an idea can be an obsessive thing. Like, you can lock into it. And it can be something that is hard to let go of.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, so the concept of Robert has this thing. He will falter. People falter. Mm-hmm. He will falter. So he has this new purpose. But if it goes wrong, that idea will falter. It is not going to be the thing that continues his journey. He is going to have new ideas to then move him forward. Because if he only solely depends on that one idea, he will falter and he will fail. And it's just not true. I don't know. I did like the line where Mal was instigating against Ariadne and was like, do you know what it is? Do you know what it is to be a lover? Half of a whole. I like that. That half of a whole. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm sure it's been said before, but I don't know if I've heard that in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I do.
That's all.
I think character-wise, I do really like Eames.
Yeah, Tom Hardy's crazy good,
and just like the relationship between him and Arthur was a little bit weird, but I do love the snarkiness of like,
what's a kick? And then he like tips the chair. He's like, "This is a kick."
Yeah, yeah. Or the like, "Oh, I'm impressed." Your oh my goodness. I almost said condensation. Your condensation is, as always, is much appreciated, Arthur. Thank you. Just like him being like, yeah, okay, move on.
Well, his lines were, it almost felt as though it was written from a perspective of someone who always wanted to be that character. I've heard Christopher Nolan talk. He just seems like a movie nerd. Like, he seems like a nice guy, but like, he just loves movies, that kind of thing. And Ames is really that character that kind of knows what he's doing and has the it. So, I think there's the scene where What the hell's his name? Leo
Cobb.
Dominic
Cobb.
Oh, that was his first name.
They call him Dom like twice.
Yeah. Cobb is talking to him about Inception, and he's like, I don't want to hear something like, I don't want to hear it. I know that Inception, don't tell me Inception's impossible. And he's like, it's not impossible. It's just bloody difficult. It's like, that is such a smooth line. That's a good line. That's someone who like understands what's happening, but also understands the gravity of the situation.
Yeah.
That guy has it. That guy, he's it. He's got it going on. And it feels when those are written, it's always like, that's written from a perspective of someone who always wanted to be that person.
Yeah.
So it's always a fun character.
Yeah. And I think he was also the most interesting, like if you were to take here's what you build a team of thieves from like you're doing a heist movie. These are your different characters.
Yeah.
The fact that he was the face,
right?
Essentially, like he's the Mission Impossible person who puts on the mask, but they do that in a way that he just like watches how somebody acts, and then he like, okay, now I can take on that persona in the dream.
Right.
It was a really interesting way of doing that,
which also furthers my issue with the stupid guns, because he's just dreaming himself into the guy's body. He's not like wearing a costume. It's just he thinks, and thus it happens.
Yeah.
So why couldn't you do that with anything else?
Yeah, I don't know.
Alrighty. You feel good? And now that we talked a long time about stuff that may or may not have mattered, we're going to go into the review rewind. And this is where we look at a positive review and a negative review, and we see where we fall. So Metacritic has it at 74%. Rotten Tomatoes has it at an 87%. Rotten Tomato audience has it at a 91%. And IMDb audience has it at an 8.8. So highly regarded, all in all. Why don't you go ahead and read the positive one? That looks like it's very positive.
Variety gave it a 100.
Matt Damon. Sorry, that's all I heard.
If Inception is a metaphysical puzzle, it's also a metaphorical one.
Oh, screw you.
But it's hard not to draw a connection between Cobb's dream weaving and Nolan's filmmaking. An activity devoted to constructing a simulacrum?
Yeah, I guess so.
Of reality, intended to seduce us, mess with our heads, and leave a lasting impression. Mission accomplished.
Let's see.
Simulacrum.
Gesundheit. Simulacrum is a representation or imitation of a person or a thing. I just find it funny that they were willing to say simulacrum and then mess with our heads.
Yeah. Let me use this really big word and then also say, they mess with my brain.
Yeah. This is definitely a review of a first-time watch and someone who might have, like, duly respect for Christopher Nolan. And, like, don't get me wrong. I think he's a really good director. But that, I don't know. It's a little much. And I'm probably going to disagree with the negative one, too. 40 from Salon. For the most part, quote, Inception is a handsome, clever, and grindingly self-serious boy movie shorn of imagination, libido, spirituality, or emotional depth. Son of a bitch, I might actually agree. Nolan establishes a fascinating world loaded with trapdoors, symbols, and hidden secrets, and then squanders the opportunity on an overpriced Twilight Zone episode. I don't know if I agree with the score, but that's kind of an apt description.
Mm.
It's a little rude. It's a little rude. But yeah, I think it is a handsome, clever, and grindingly self-serious boy movie shorn of imagination, libido, spirituality, or emotional depth. I kind of don't disagree.
Mm.
Because my biggest issue with Christopher Nolan is it doesn't seem like he knows how to write emotion.
Mm-hmm.
It's either there's no emotion or it's just an abundance of emotion that if you were a real person in that situation, you would be like, whoa, everyone needs to calm down because whatever it is we're doing right here, not okay.
The emotion is typically yelling.
Yeah. And
The emotion
spirituality
is Batman saying, "Where is she?"
What is it? What is it? I swear to God, swear to me. You know what? That spirituality is such an interesting thing because for such a heady movie, it really does not delve into any kind of spirituality whatsoever.
And it very easily could have.
Yeah, because what is spirituality if not from the most logical of thought processes? What is spirituality if not us writing down or manifesting our dreams in some way, shape, or form?
Mm.
Yeah, in this movie, you know what? I didn't notice it until they said, like, it just really did lack in any kind of spirituality. The shorn of imagination, I don't know about that. I think there are really interesting imaginative aspects to it.
Yeah.
The libido is very true. I think the kiss was so weird because this movie lacks sexual tension at every corner.
Yeah.
There is no sexual tension in this movie. So to have like that kiss was immediately like, why did you guys do that?
I would argue that there is a slight amount of sexual tension between Eames and Arthur.
I don't disagree with that.
There were
but
a couple of ways.
If I was in a room with Tom Hardy,
I mean,
I would keep staring at him, and I don't know if that would be sexual tension or just like my neurodivergence coming out, but I would be looking at him going like, "You're a hell of a man." I watched the man do like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I'm just like, hell of a man. The connection to the Twilight Zone is an interesting perspective. Like it's
especially with that type of ending where it's like, oh, it's still spinning. Does that mean he's in or is he out?
Right.
And like, that's a very Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's also, there's a lot of jumbling at the end. At the end of the movie, there's a lot of, okay, we got to land this plane, literally. So we got to just kind of snap through it and to hell with explanations or continuity or whatever, you know?
For how much the movie spends setting up it spends no time closing it out.
Well, and I think too, there's a lot, like you said, with the top, like no one's the beginning of the movie, the first hour and a half, spends a lot of time establishing rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Arthur says you spend enough time with Cobb, you realize that he does the opposite of what he says, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like once you get to the end of the movie, it's legitimately to hell with everything we've set up.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, like, it does bring in something new. Like, I feel like Cobb somehow enters like demigod kind of status. And I say that because he's able to maneuver through limbo, which is supposed to be, oh, my brain's blanking. What's the other word for limbo? Limbo.
Purgatory?
Purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows how to maneuver out of it. And knows how to maneuver out of each step.
Mm-hmm.
So, he has achieved something that, from our understanding, no one else has.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's kind of in his own setup there, but it's also like, so wait, you just had to let your wife go and you become a god? Like, what? Why did it take you so long? Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know. The ending just moved too fast, I think. But that is sound. What I don't squanders opportunities. I don't know. So where do you rate it?
So I don't think I agree with the majority of like 86, 91, 8.8. I think that's giving it like, I watched it once and I thought it was great. I think it's probably like a C plus, B minus. I'm leaning more B minus because I think it's like, it's good. It's really interesting. But it does have.
I'm not going to read an essay 5 times.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to see all the issues with it every single time.
Mm-hmm.
But having not seen this movie since, I don't know, 2011
Right.
was like the last time I watched this movie. So it's basically my first time watching it and still being able to kind of like poke some of those holes. I think B minus, because it's still a cool movie.
Yeah.
Like, my attention was got.
Yeah.
Which is really, in the grand scheme of the movie experience, particularly nowadays, if your attention can get locked in, you're probably in a good place. Like, you probably did a good job.
Yeah.
I think having been in this world and watched so many movies, I'm getting over this like ultra serious perspective of the world. And so that immediately, puts me on my hind legs of I'm cautious about this. But even with that, going through it, like it still has some fun moments. It still has a really interesting plot. Again, Christopher Nolan is a fantastic director and created a visual experience that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So I would definitely give it like a B minus. I'd probably be in that like 80% maybe, like right at the cusp of it. Which is still good.
Yeah.
But, definitely has some issues. I would definitely watch it again. I don't know how many times I could watch it, but I would definitely want to watch it again.
About once every 15 years.
Yeah. Thumbs up. Has it been that? Oh my gosh. It's been like 14 years since I've seen it. Holy crap. Oh. That just made me really sad. Yeah. All right. Well, would you recommend it?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting watch. I think it's a I'm not gonna be the guy that's gonna praise Christopher Nolan as being there's no director in my opinion that is like everything they make is gold.
Right.
I think he does a great job.
Yeah.
I think this movie is really interesting.
Yeah.
And I would definitely recommend people watch it.
Yeah.
I do not agree with Variety, who's basically just kissing
his ass. Yeah. 100%. That's crazy.
A 100 and the use of simulacrum.
And mess with our Yeah. But the most important question.
Simulacrum?
No,
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Here's the most important question.
Yeah, hit me.
Is it a Christmas movie?
You know.
That was a good one. Well, thank you so much for listening. Sorry we took up so much of your time. And we really appreciate it. Follow us on I don't need to say all that. Anyway, we'll be back next week. And I've been Mike.
And I'm Tristan.
And listeners, remember to review those rewinds. And we'll see you next time. Ciao.